to another edition of our class today. So today we'll be really dealing with one or two things on what our site building processes. So today we will be working on through our cPanels. You know, when you buy your hosting, buying a domain, it is believed that you have your cPanel where you'll be launching every part of the site, and where you'll be doing so many things, they'll be giving it to you. So this cPanel comes after you've making your transactions, where you bought your domains and your hosting. So the hosting provider will give you your own cPanel. So where you are now is on the cPanel. Then where we'll be working on today is how we can launch our site. So how can you launch your site? Remember, our focus on today is how we can build and develop a WordPress site. Building and developing a WordPress site, that is where our focus is going to be. Now, how do you go about you building a site made up of WordPress? Then you locate the part in the cPanel where they wrote software. You go down the bottom part of your cPanel. Now this is where it's written on WordPress. Now on this aspect of the word software, this is it here. This is where you are going to go whenever you are in your cPanel. If you want to work on WordPress, now then there are two key functions that we need in building this area. Number one is the first one, which they wrote WordPress management by SoftwareClass. Then number two is SoftwareClass app installer. So any one of this one you use, you can use it to install your WordPress. But we are going to use these other ones, which is the second one here. This is the one you are going to use. Click on it, then it will take you to where you are going to install your WordPress site. Now you are in another interface. Now in this interface you see something here, they wrote top script. This place is telling us that there are so many softwares you can use to launch your site. There are so many softwares. The first one is WordPress. That is the first one here. Then the second one is is Joomla. The third one is Abatecat, while the fourth one is this and all of that. But the one we'll be focusing our attention on most especially is this one that is written on WordPress. This is the one we'll be focusing our attention, WordPress. Now, why are we using WordPress? I think you just have to listen carefully. Why are we using WordPress? It is believed, based on the varieties of websites that is being built worldwide, it is believed that WordPress is the largest CMS system in the world. That means majority of people uses WordPress and is highly recognized because of its varieties of plugins. Now, if I should go to a web server, or I should go to our Google search and I search for something like what is the largest and most used CMS in the world. Now look at what it's going to bring out. The first thing you see here is what? Is WordPress. That's the first thing we are seeing here. WordPress. Look at it here. This is WordPress. And what did they say about WordPress? They said WordPress is both the largest and most used CMS. That means CMS means that content management system. That is the meaning of CMS. Now, and it's a avenue whereby all content are managed. All the content that is needed in building a whole project are managed. And if you read further, they said here that it powers over 43% of internet and having a massive ecosystem of plugins and themes. You see we are using WordPress in bringing up our site into a perfect view. So now you see something like on this aspect here, they said here that from a simple site simple blog to complex e-commerce store. That means from simple blog you can build an e-commerce store on WordPress. So that is why we are focusing our building of our website with WordPress. WordPress is when you are starting up a site as a first timer, you don't know much about site building. Begin from WordPress. It gives you the insight on building using other softwares to build up your site. So that is why we are using WordPress in building up our sites and bringing up our project into a perfect completion. So having known about this, let's go ahead and move to WordPress. Install WordPress. Now this is a WordPress interface that you are seeing presently right now. Now on the WordPress interface, there are things I want you to really observe here. We see so many boxes that are here. This is the first box, the second box, and the third box. Now these are the three boxes that I think we have to really check. On the first box here contains the protocol. You don't do any changes to this one, you leave it the way it is. Then on the second box here, this is where you choose the domain you want the WordPress to be installed on, while the third box is indirectly. That means if somebody enters this domain, should he redirect the person to another place? So that is what these three boxes means. Then having said this, we know that we will not be looking after this second box, first box, rather is the second box. They say choose any domain. If you are coming into this place or having your cPanel for the first time, it is believed that the domain you register when you are buying a cPanel will be the domain that will appear here, and this is the only domain that is going to appear on in this box. But for those of us that has been building sites that has so many subdomains, they will ask us, we might have complex domains. They will say choose a domain. Now I have up to 2 domains here. I don't want to use the first one, I want to use the second one here. What will I do? I choose the second one. Then you now come to this place, WP. Make sure that this WP, this one in particular, remove it. You don't need any of it. You don't need WP. This one, remove it from here. How will you do it? Is by what? Take your cursor and alight inside, wipe it away. Let it only this one stands alone. Then you go down. When you go down, you come to the other part of your edit of your setup, which is site settings. On this site settings, they are telling you here that put in the name of your site, put a description of your site, the name, put a description, put a username, and then you put a password. Now these are the ones that are very important on these site settings. Now what are we going to do now? Let's begin it one after the other. First one is the name of the site. You that is building a site, you know what the site is representing, you know where you are, what you are building it for, so you should know the kind of name you choose whenever you are building the site. Now if you are building a site for an e-commerce store or an online store where they sell goods, you come here and name it that can align with the business. If you are building a site for a tech company, you give it a name that is in alignment with a tech company. if you are building a site for a real estate company, you give it a name that is in alignment with a real estate company. So this is how, where you do what, you put the name. Let's say my own is tech, so I will give it a tech name. How do I mean by that? Now I will say here fast tech, or the name of the site is tech Tech. I will give it Cell Tech. You see, Cell Tech ICT or that is the name. Then I'll give it a little description here, like a fastest tech company in Africa. So this is how we put it here. Then we go to the account. They believe that when you are setting up these things, you should have a password that protect your site from every other person's. You now come in and put any password that you will want to. Then you put your username and then your password 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now when it's done, then you go down. When you go down, you see where they wrote install, which is this one here, install. What will you do? You click on what? You click on install. When you click on install, this counter, it will count from 1 to 100. After that, it will tell you that the software was installed successfully. The software was installed successfully. Now when it's installed successfully, then from there we move to our next discussion. Join me in my next discussion still on that same WordPress site installation. Thank you.